What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Casey and Michelle, and we are discussing episode 4 of The Ones Who Live. And woo woo, this was emotional. Oh my God. This was an amazing episode. Before we get started talking about the episode, I do want to say welcome to all of our new YouTube subscribers. I don't know what it was about the episode 3 show that we did, but we have had an influx of new subscribers, comments on the video. Our video right now is like at almost 1,600 views, which is almost unheard of for us. Like, we're a very small podcast, but we love it. Welcome to everyone. We hope you're enjoying the conversation. Go back and check out some of our other stuff. We've covered other Walking Dead shows. We cover Marvel. We cover a whole bunch of stuff, but welcome. Thank you guys for subscribing and commenting. It really made our week last week, reading all the comments and seeing everybody's views. So let's get into this episode 4. The first thing I want to say is run to Nagura her flowers for writing this episode, and please give Andy Lincoln his motherfucking flowers, because when I say they ate and left no crumbs in this episode, like, this episode was so phenomenal. And that's the word I'm going to use.
Only be just them two.
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm.
This episode was amazing. And I mean, when I say Andy's portrayal of Rick in this episode specifically, I felt every nuance, every little bit of emotion this man had in this episode. I felt it to my core. Like, Casey and I got to watch the episode together today, and it was just one of those things. When Rick was catching his breath, I was trying to catch my breath. When he was holding his breath, I was holding my breath. When Denai Guerrero turned around and looked at him, me and Casey both were like, hold up, that's the look right there. This episode, like, I felt like Rick said, it felt like you took my heart and you just pulled it out and just took it with you.
Swear to God.
It was so good.
Swear to God. I concur. And you already know my favorite part of the whole thing, right?
Of course. Like, from the moment she got on the screen, she was like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I was like, we already know how you feel about this woman.
We do.
But baby, her taking off them motherfucking clothes. And then that look, you know that I made her pause the screen
so she can take a picture. Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Pause right there. And I have that picture in my phone. Thank you very much.
Yes.
She posted it on Facebook before the episode even finished airing. She was like, oh, that's going on a t-shirt.
That's going on a t-shirt, because baby, that look that woman gave, like, it melted heart. Like he said, ugh.
I know.
Rip it out my chest.
Did you
let me just put this disclaimer out there. Mm-hmm. If I ever meet this woman in person,
you're gonna lose your shit.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
You are. You are.
I'm gonna officially lose my shit. Y'all gonna have to pull me back. It's gonna be tears. It's gonna be the ugly cry, honey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm like I told you, when we went to the finale thing, like, I think we missed Denai by maybe like 15 minutes because they were getting ready to close the fan experience. So they were like, okay, if you're going to go to the fan experience, you have to leave now. And I think she showed up like right towards the end, because I think her appearance was like a surprise appearance. Nobody really knew. Well, I won't say they, of course they knew she was coming, but none of us fans knew she was coming. You know, they never announced it or anything. And Casey said the same thing. Then she was like, if I meet her, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to be crying. I said, I'm going to be sitting there with my camera just like this the whole time. I'm going to get it all on tape for her so she can just watch it over.
Because I ain't going to remember none of it.
But when she turned around, and we are going to be all over the place today, because there's like, my mind is like going in different
directions. It's all over the place. Yes.
It's all over the place. But when she turned her head to look at him, when she was changing clothes. Did you hear him like stop breathing, or like it was like a shuddering breath? Like when I say I felt everything this man was feeling in this episode, you could see it. Like Rick was struggling. He was
He
struggling.
was.
He like trying to tell her that he's not coming back with her, all this other stuff. But at the same time, he's looking at her like, how can I let that go? When she turned around and looked at him, I was like, yeah, you're doomed. You're doomed. And then
You
he
are.
just kept pissing me off during the whole episode. I was like, dude, we sit here, Casey and I sitting here fussing at him. Michonne, if you don't go ahead and punch him, just punch some sense into him like you did in Alexandria. Just knock him out. But when we get to the reason, the core reason, the real reason why he's doing what he's doing, I was like, okay, you know what? Everything that he has done since he's seen her and all of this, the decisions he's made and everything that he has said to her, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. He was like, if you're out there in the world and I don't know that you're alive, I can pretend like you're alive and be okay. But for me to lose you or to see that, like he almost did with Thorne, he was like, I can't do that. And I was like, okay, this makes so much more sense.
That's harder.
It makes so much more sense.
It does. But they ain't had to pull the I was dreaming of Carl, and then I lost Carl, made me lose Carl. I said,
girl made the little boy disappear.
Right. I was like, why do this? This is not right.
When he disappeared from that scene,
I know I started sobbing like, I don't want to lose you either.
Like, how dare y'all do this to us? How dare you? How dare you? Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about children since we're there, because I know that's the big thing.
But the leading up to it was the favorite part, because you know that you were in a good argument when you're not getting straight to the point. You just kind of throwing daggers. You just throwing daggers. Because he's like, I don't know which way she's throwing stuff at me. Because you start
Rick
talking random.
I like this book. Experience like this
right. You,
maybe.
You like this book? Why are you talking about this book? Okay, Judith liked this book. Okay. Why are you talking about creative writing? Or how you were in computer science and dropped out? And next you know, but you're a creative writer.
Girl.
I loved your note that you left me. He probably was like, where that came from?
Right. She was like, oh, so why here?
Tell your children.
And then your children.
What?
When I tell you, I was like,
get the masterpiece.
Like,
what? Did I hear? Because I had a feeling that when she told him it was going to be not necessarily in a straightforward way, I felt like she was going to have to tell it to him in a way that it was jarring for him, that like really made him pay attention, because I felt like that was going to be the way that she kind of turned his decision. But of course we see what it did was it kind of made him more steadfast in his decision, because he's like, oh, now I have one other person that needs to be protected. And it was like Casey and I was sitting over here fussing at him, but at the same time I understood it. Like she was like, I just told you had a son and you still talking about calling them. And I was like, Rick is in that mindset. He was like, I can't know anything about him.
Right.
Because that'll deter me from what I need to do, and I need to protect my family. I felt it.
And you gave me another reason that I need to get you out of here.
Yeah.
Another reason.
You must. But I also like that we finally see, because, you know, of course, me included, was like, how you just going to leave your kids? But now we can see the struggle that she was going through herself to say, motherfucker, I left my kids to go fucking
right. And you know how I was about the parenting.
Yes, yes. You were very vocal about it.
I felt it. Like it was a struggle. And like, damn, for you, I left the kids.
Right. Yeah. And you telling me to go back? You telling me I shouldn't have came? She was like, do you not understand? She was like, especially, and you know, she cut herself off before she finished the sentence, but she was like, I've been away from them, coming to search for you. And, you know, she was thinking they might not even be there. You know, and she says it at the end. She was like, I lied to you. I don't know if Judith is okay. She's not answering the walkie. And that's got to be thinking of, she's got to be thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, her throwing in, that attack that killed my friends, got caught in that too. I almost died. I had to lay up in the mall for a year to recover. They stole a year from me. Time I should have been with my kids. I was like so glad that she put all of that in there, because that's what a lot of people have been talking about, the fact that Michonne just up and left her kids, and has been gone this long. And we've said it in other episodes that we've covered. Like, I don't think Michonne would have stayed away as long as she did without good reason. We know this, but also too, she thought she was leaving her kids in safe hands. She didn't know the Whisperer War was still going, because Judith lied to her. Judith told her, we got Alpha. The Whisperers aren't a problem anymore. Go get my daddy.
Yeah. The Whisperers, Commonwealth, they've been through some things.
They have.
She missed a lot.
Like,
she missed a lot.
Missed a lot. Yeah.
She missed a lot.
Right.
But you can feel the internal struggle that she was having. And I loved it. Especially when she realized, you know what? F it. I'm just going back to my kids. Like, she was walking around picking up some stuff for her to broke the lamp so she can have her a stick. She was getting herself together. And just like we all do, she walked out, but then she waited. Is he gonna come?
That hurt my heart so much, because she
gonna follow
there.
Me?
He didn't come. She turned around to look at the door, still waiting for him. When I tell you, my heart was breaking for her. And then it was breaking for him, because you could hear his struggle. He's like almost touching the doorknob, and he's like, I want to go after her, but he was thinking, if he lets her go, she'll be safe. That's all he's thinking. He wants her to live. He wants her to be safe, but he was like, I can't do this. I got to go after her.
Yeah.
And also, I'm so glad that he said it in this episode, so everybody can stop questioning. He said, you are the love of my life.
Excuse me, who was questioning?
There's people out there who... Okay, so there are people out there...
They question what relationship? Their relationship against another relationship, or just period?
There's actually a lot of people who don't feel like Michonne and Rick belong together. They're like, I don't see it. I don't feel the chemistry.
Well, I'm playing devil's advocate.
They don't feel it in this episode.
They don't. But I mean, I'm sorry. I love a good montage, and people on YouTube have put montages together of their relationship and how they talk and how they look and music behind it. And you watch those and you're like, well, damn.
I literally just got finished watching
since the beginning.
They've been
signs from the beginning.
Right. Flirty.
Like having each other's back and understanding each other and being there for each other.
The friendship. The friendship. Not just with Carl, but the friendship that they had. Which was the basis of this epic love story that we see, because you get a lot of people who they see each other and immediately they want to just date. And you don't build that foundation. They had the foundation. And I was looking at one of those YouTube videos right before we started recording. And even all the way back to the prison. When she was telling him, I know you had to consider my deal with the governor. You had to. And he was like, yeah, I almost did it. She was like, but you didn't. And she's telling him that's the important thing. And he was like, what was it? She said, I never thanked you for getting me out from getting me from out there that day. And he was like, well, if you didn't have that baby formula, I wouldn't have. But she was like, you could have just taken the formula. He was like, well, it must have been something else. I was like, oh, okay. So there's a little spark of it. And then, she was going out looking for the governor. She would come back. That one time she came back with the comic books for Carl. Him and Carl are running up to her. He said, glad to see you. And she turns around with that smile. Glad to see you too. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they've been flirting back and forth.
They've been flirting, and I think she said it in an interview where she was like, Michonne probably was in love with him, but didn't know it. But when they were leaving from the claimed house and they were playing on the railroad tracks, they were doing the little game balancing. The way that he looks at her and Carl and the way they're interacting, I feel like that's when he started falling in love with her. You know what I'm saying? Not just because of who she was with Carl, but just her. And I think him seeing her and understanding her, and I was just like, how do people say that they didn't
but that's even
see this coming?
I know, and that's the icing on top, though. Her relationship with Carl and taking care of Judith like it's her kid.
Right. Because
you see the love she has. Right. To see the love she has for them and protects them. That's an icing on the cake too about how I feel about her. They sitting up in that house in Alexander like they a whole family before they even became, intimate.
Right.
Ain't like a whole family. Are you gonna give me some toothpaste?
Right.
I like the
and the little dap. The little dap before I left.
You all in the robe and stuff. Come on, friends. What y'all having a problem with?
Right.
What y'all having a problem with?
I don't know. But like you said, Stacey, if they don't feel it after this episode, especially at the end, when he finally let go and he was like, you are the love of my life. Without you, I am dead. He was like, if something happens to you, I can't go on. I'm not going to go on. He was like, and I figured out how to do that. After he told her about dreaming of Carl and losing his face, dreaming of her, he was like, I couldn't see your face anymore.
Falling in love with her in different ways.
Right. And we literally saw that when she started burning up in flames. He was like, I learned how to be dead and still live. He said, but you come back and you make me alive again. And now I don't know if I'm gonna lose you and I'm supposed to be okay with it. He was no. He was like, I can sit here and pretend you could be gone and I can pretend that you're alive, whether you are or not. It's fine. As long as I think you're alive, you're good. But if I have to see something happen to you, like he almost did in the last episode, he was like, I can't do that. I can't. I felt that. I felt it.
Anybody who watches this episode and don't feel every emotion over the last 8 years,
what are you watching?
What the fuck are you watching? Because even I'm in there like, this is the talk y'all need. This is the timeout y'all needed.
Right.
Y'all are taking full advantage of this timeout.
I love it, though.
Both of y'all are like, you gonna listen to what I have to say.
Right.
This is my point of view. And like she said, when they were sitting on our bed, we'll know when it's time to go once we figure out what we doing. Because you saying one thing, I'm saying another thing. We need to find some middle ground. What is we doing?
Right.
And that's what I love. I love that you had to throw your man outside of a helicopter for a timeout. Then I love that you waited to say, we are not leaving this building until we make a decision. It's falling.
Well, we just have to
go outside. But she was like, I'm sorry. We're sitting here until we make one.
Right.
Better think fast.
Yeah. But the other thing that I love about that whole conversation and the way it unfolded, because as they're going through the episode, they're talking, he's talking, and she's responding with anger. And I think the thing that she slowly came to see was this is a man, like, even when he was like, when she was like, what was it? She said, we can't let them win. He was like, look at me. They won a long time ago. Like, when you see how broken this man is completely defeated. The only thing he has in his mind is getting her to safety. When she was like, you want me to leave? He was like, I want you to live. And I don't think Michonne understands just how close she was to getting killed. I don't think she knows that Thorne had that rifle trained on her. She does not understand how close she was to getting killed. But she's responding to everything that he's given her with like shock, anger, anything that would make a traumatized person kind of shrink back. And I think afterwards, she started realizing, I need to show this man love, the love that he has been missing for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
I need to bring that to him, and I need to remember I need him to remember who we are together and what makes this work. Yeah. And that's the only way that she got him to break down the way that he was.
And she had to do this before because he was there at the bottom with Negan.
Mm-hmm. And she had to be the one to.
She had to be the one to. Yep, because he was at his bottom then too.
Mm-hmm.
So she's seen this,
right? Just never to this extreme. I mean, this
right
man
to
cut
this
his hand
extreme,
off
right?
trying to get to.
Or not even like you would think like, okay, I'm telling you about an extra kid we have now. You would be like, well, maybe we could create a plan. No, you shutting down every time she tried, you were shutting it down, shutting it down, shutting it down, shutting it down.
Because he was just like, I got to get her back home to these kids. Notice he could never say RJ's name.
Yeah.
He just kept saying our kids, our son, our son. He could never bring himself to say RJ's name because then that would make it very personal and very real for him. And he might actually start considering, like, I understand his whole thing. He bought into Okafor's thing. He was like, okay, maybe I can change the CRM. Because if you look at it deeper, the Civic Republic, let me not talk about the military, the Civic Republic, what they've done for the city, that's amazing. To take 200,000 people and have it organized and have it safe, that's an amazing feat in this type of world. But when you add that military, anytime you add a military element to it, or anytime you add like a government element to it, it's gonna fuck some things up. And he really wanted to try to be the one to change that. And he says it in here. He was like, Okafor is dead. Thorne is one of them now.
Yes, he did.
And I know he was saying that's why he was trying to bring Michonne in. That's what he told Thorne. And what he told Thorne also made sense. Okafor searched out for A's that could become leaders. She could become a leader here and she could help us. But again, I feel like Thorne felt threatened because here it is, you're a consignee and you were able to do something that I was not able to do. Not only with moving the RDM, but also you got Rick to go along with you to help. What was all the things? Rick was like, I told you not to show them who you are.
He did.
You had to break the kill record. You had to take the RDM. It was like, you just.
Congratulations on breaking the kill record.
Right.
Congratulations.
Give me my kudos.
Right. But he was just like, I'm trying to keep you safe. And you're like, you almost got killed. We can't have this. You got to go home. And you know how messed up in the head or how traumatized he is when you see the fucking helicopter in the side of the building. Because apparently, I guess they turned back around to come look for them and the storm probably pushed them into the building. Michonne is like, the CRM is going to think we're dead now. We're good. We're clear. We can go home. Jadis will think we're dead. Because boy, she was like, look, we can go back. We can sneak into Jadis's place. We can take her
and kill her.
And then we can go home.
You had a plan, baby.
She did.
He was like, no. I was like, the amount of trauma this man has. That's is years.
Because it's like, no matter what plan she's coming, I'm trying to give you an out, but you ain't taking it.
Right.
Yes, it would be extremely difficult to get back into the CRM to be able to take Jadis out in any form, but I'm willing to do that just so your mind can be clear that we are for real free. Like, I'm trying to show you every avenue, like I got your back, but it's like you don't have that for me. You just like go home.
He's scared though. I don't.
And
I mean,
we've never seen him this scared. Ever.
Not this scared. And then you can even see it on his face when she's saying about how Judith and RJ talk about the brave man. And he like, that ain't me. That is not me.
I said, you're not the brave man.
No, he's not the brave man.
And
that
for him to voice that, he was like, I'm not the brave man.
I'm not the brave man.
Why he doing that?
But at the same time, I understand where he's coming from too, because even if she's like, we go back to the CRM, we kill Jadis or whatever, you don't think it's gonna be weird, or they're not gonna question the fact that y'all two are the only ones who walked away from this helicopter crash? Rick has already survived one helicopter attack. For him to come back after two, like Michonne said, you can't come, you're not going to come home, but I don't think you can go back to the CRM. There is nothing that I think that would allow Rick to go back to the CRM and they take him back with open arms. Bill is already kind of like iffy on him.
Right.
Thorne is probably going to be like, so y'all two, the two who were defiant, the two who broke protocol, y'all are the ones
that
survived. And not only that, I was
That's
wondering,
unbelievable.
Right. And I was wondering because when you look at the beginning of this episode and you see like, you hear the stuff going on in the apartment and you see the Roomba, you can see the light from the helicopter going across the window right before they actually jump out. So that helicopter was a distance away. That means that they had to circle back, probably looking for Rick and Michonne when they crash into the building. So my question would have been, did they call that in like, hey, consignee Bethune and you know, I just wondered about that.
I actually think no. I think actually because of the storm, like after they jumped, they crashed. Why? One, because that door being open and the storm could have just sent them off.
Yeah.
And they crashed into that building.
Okay.
So they have no idea that they're missing.
Right. And I thought about it
clearly CRM is like destroying evidence now.
Right. So because that's the other thing. When they came and they shot the helicopter, I was like, so they didn't want to check to make sure that there were no survivors. But I was like, you know what? I guess they figure at some point, if there are survivors, they'll be dead in a few minutes or a few hours anyway because of the way that the building imploded. So I guess they were like, okay, whatever. But
they could hide. Honestly, they could hide because who's going to go and dig under this building to look for them in their CRM suits? Like, and then you just blew it up too.
They cut their losses and move on.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, those were two problematic people anyway. They're probably like, you know what? It's probably better than.
But guess who wouldn't believe it?
Jadis.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Probably. I'm sorry. I'll be like, their asses are not dead.
Yeah.
Hell,
they are not.
If anything, Jadis would think they
did this
just so that they wouldn't, caught or whatever.
Yeah.
So
that
Jadis ain't gonna let it go at all.
She's not.
But you know what? At the same time, I kind of feel like I don't know, because I've also been going back looking at like all of the clips where Jadis talked about how they got involved with the CRM, and something about that still just does not make sense to me. It's like the CRM is going around, they're erasing evidence of who they are wherever there's problems. They've eliminated a whole group of people. So you just approach these hundreds of people that are in the trash heap and you offer them, oh, hey, so we'll bring you supplies if you give us people. Like, why would you offer that to them and not offer it to anybody else? And again, I keep coming back to the whole thing where Jadis said, we observe, we don't bother. And that's probably something that maybe the CRM observed. But then again, like how I still have questions about how that whole agreement came to be. But going back to her, I think one, she liked kind of having that to hold over Rick, because you notice she's almost like a creepy guy who's like always hitting on the female and she don't want the attention. Like that's her behavior with Rick. Yeah. Now I know she said if they try to escape. Right. Now I know she told Rick, if y'all try to escape, if y'all try to leave here, I'll come after you. But technically speaking, they didn't escape as far as she knows, as far as anybody else knows. They crashed in a helicopter. And even if they somehow made it out alive and escaped, Jadis would probably, she should probably just let that go because she know Rick don't want to come back there. Now,
He's
Michonne
petty.
might be another thing once because Michonne has seen her.
This would be her way to get away free and clear.
Right.
Without having because she's worried about blowback on her.
Right.
But Jadis is petty too. She's like, I don't believe it. They're together. See, stuff don't happen like this all the time.
And then you're gonna have to keep in mind, like, say she believe that. How's she gonna get them higher up to be like, oh yeah, he escaped. Let's send people to go look for him. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna be like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The only person she could probably convince is Thorne. But they'd have to be on another mission doing something else in order to make that happen. Let's go, why they doing whatever, let's go look.
Yeah. And they got bigger fish to fry.
It wouldn't make sense.
Right. They have this summit coming up in a few days.
Exactly. So
right.
what would be the point?
Look, I have theories at the end. I have more theories at the
end.
Okay. But yeah, I kind of feel like Michelle, though. Like, I feel like Jadis should let it go because, like you said, that's her out. That's her free and clear. She has nothing to do with that. There's no way that they can tie that escape to her, even though
correct.
Yes, she was in Washington. But like you said, Michelle, she petty.
She is, and you like you guys said, it's like there's no like Rick and Michonne is not going to come back. They're not going to tell people where it is. He's going to be like, I was lost in a community that just kept me hostage. That's all he can tell his family when he gets back. Carol be like, where were you again? I was just Carol. I was like in Canada or something. You know, it was just a group of people that kept me.
Or he would just say, I don't want to talk about it.
And guess what? True. Once he get home, they're not gonna care about the details.
Right. So
nobody is gonna be like, oh, where were you?
Right. So James don't even have to worry about that. But again, she's gonna be petty. Like they are not gonna live their best life. They're not.
Yeah.
Petty, and then she will be scared because again, I'm telling you, every time these people enter a community,
yeah,
they tear it up.
Yeah.
To the ground.
So she know if they decide we need to take over. Now it's gonna be hard to try to take over the CRM because we don't even know who's in charge. And I'm starting to think this plan Rick has, I want Michonne to say, this is not gonna work with one man trying to change things.
Essentially, she did.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, it's so much bigger than that.
It is. It's so much bigger than we even know. We're just dealing with the military part. We don't know until we get to this summit, which is my theory. We will get to this summit.
Yeah,
we don't know what's in the echelon briefing.
We don't. We don't have any idea. Because again, we loved it from the beginning. This is a story about a group of people, and there's so many different groups of people and so many things happening.
Right.
So I don't know.
Jadis just need to let it go.
She does.
She's not going to. We know she's not. She really, 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 really needs to, but the pettiness in her will not allow it. Because how dare you have a happy ending?
Right.
How dare you not let me use my blackmail over you? How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you not come to my quarters and see the view?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're going off with this woman you've been separated for 8 years.
That's all this is. Jadis is a bitter bitch who's mad that he ain't pick her.
But you know what? That's a recurring thing for her because like I said, I went back. I've been going back looking at videos. She asked Gabriel to come with her to the CRM, and he told her no. And she almost killed him because she was like, I can't let you go back. And he sat there and pleaded with her. He was like, look, I'm so sorry. He said, I understand why you're doing this. He was like, because you asked me to help you. You asked me to choose you, and I didn't do that. And that was my mistake. I'm so sorry. He was like, I forgive you. And she backed off with the walker at the last minute. Because she has a habit of men not choosing her. But then again, your approach, bitch, is not the best. There is nothing about you that inspires loyalty or love in that sense. Not like what we see with these two.
No, she's like one of those people to force you to be her friend.
Right.
Like, well, you know, if you don't hang out with me, then this gonna happen. If you don't do this, this gonna happen. Like, bitch, somebody want to be your dusty ass friend.
Right.
Let
To the
me
point
go
where you
home.
threaten
Live
this
my life and
man's
be free.
family. You threaten everybody. I'll threaten
Everybody.
everybody you love and a few people that I quite like.
Really?
Bitch. Just.
Jaden's don't have to die. I still stand by that.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I still stand by that. Jaden's.
It's not gonna happen this season, but maybe in the future.
And something else, because Casey and I were talking today. We were like, I feel like, okay, so we saw the previews for the next episode, so we know that they are trying to get home. We know that somebody's following them. I have a feeling it's not somebody from the CRM, but still, you can't introduce an entity of this scope, not just in one show, not just in two shows. You've introduced them over the course of all of the shows,
all the shows.
except Daryl Dixon, because that's a whole separate. I mean, he's dealing with a whole different type of government military thing.
Right.
But for them to be so prominent in World Beyond, and for them to be so prominent in this show, I just don't see Rick and Michonne going home and then that's it for the CRM. You can't do that.
No.
So
and okay, here go my theory. So they already introduced that little buzzer that as soon as they press, it gets you. Someone comes to get you. That's going to be used because they're going to decide again, now that they're both on the same page, that, you know what, we can wreck some shit. So let's go ahead and.
But they destroyed it. It was in the apartment when the apartment building went down. You saw it taken apart. They took it apart.
They took it apart because I'm thinking,
No, they took it apart.
Yeah. Okay.
They took it apart and left it on the bed.
Yeah, I said the same thing, and then when we watched it the second time, you saw it.
Okay, because I feel like it's still gonna be on them or something. Or they're gonna get some.
They left.
They're getting back there. It's not ending here.
I don't think so either.
It's like something else is about to happen. They're not gonna go on this lovely road trip back home, and then we have the back home scene. Right. They're gonna do something with the CRM.
They got to. I mean, if anything,
that leaves it too open-ended. And again, like I was saying earlier, unless they're going to bring back the World Beyond, because for us, that's where you couldn't do another show. You'd have to have another season of the World Beyond for us to figure out where the CRM. Because number one, that's where they were majorly introduced, where we found out everything that we needed to know about them. And then remember, the kids left off on a mission. We'd have to figure out
in Portland
at some point beyond that world, beyond, we'd have to find what happens.
Yeah.
So if they don't, like, if this is only one season, they get home and that's the end. There's still so many questions left unanswered. We'd have the answer about the love story clearly, but then that leaves so many other things open as far as everything else.
Yeah.
Because now Fear is gone. All the little mini shows are gone. We only have Daryl Dixon, and Daryl is in France, which has nothing to, well, at least at this point, we know.
Yeah, and I feel like
and Dead City has nothing to do with the CRM as well. Well, at least as far as we know. But you can't tell at this point, you can't tell me that they don't know about what's going on in Manhattan.
They do.
Especially when you see the end of season 1 of Dead City and you have the New Babylon people who know about Manhattan. So if the New Babylon people know about Manhattan and know about the methane, you know the CRM knows some shit.
Yeah, because
they're probably like, oh, they're right there on an island. They're not trying to get off. They're not bothering nobody. We just go there and see what they do.
Because like I said earlier, don't bother nobody who ain't bothering them.
That's true. And like I said earlier on, they have spies because they'll be like Jadis. You think they only did that one with one person? Like there's other people they're talking about collecting. They know about with Daryl and them, because you can't be collecting walkers and then sending them overseas. Like they know what is happening.
And people.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So they know what is happening. Yeah. I think they do have their hand in everything. Or have someone to report back to them to let them know what's going on. So they'll know if it's going to become a threat or not.
Right.
That part, yeah. That's true.
So yeah, I think there's a bigger picture there. And I don't mind as long as the story is good and they're not just telling story just for story's sake.
Yeah.
It has to make sense. But
It does.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually did like The World Beyond, especially season 2.
I like her.
I would love to see the kids back and see what's going on, because you can't tell us that you're going to attack Portland and the kids are going to warn the people in Portland and then not give us any follow up on that.
Yeah.
Especially when you made such a big deal about Omaha and you bring Omaha into this show to kind of tie the storylines together. We've got to know what's going on with Portland. Plus, I want to see Silas. I want to see the kids. I want to see Felix and Will again. So,
and we're supposed to have someone from one of the shows, correct?
that's what they say.
It would be nice if it was from World Beyond, like something happens and they catch up, but we only got 2 episodes.
Yeah, I do know that they will see. So in the preview for the next episode, when Michonne is hitting the walker and she was like, there is hard as stone. There is a woman on the ground behind her. I don't know if she's fighting another person or if she's fighting a walker, but I looked at her. I was like, she almost looks like Hook, but I know it's not Hook, but she almost looks like Hook. I paused it because I was like, is that a person or what? I said, oh, so they're introducing another person that's probably going to die.
Correct. Look,
hello.
Correct.
Sacrifice they self.
Correct.
Right. So, but at some point, yeah, I feel like they're going to introduce something else. I don't know if it'll be another spinoff. I don't know if this show is going to get a second season and it'll be them trying to go back and change things. Because again, we don't really know the extent of, let's say, corruption or whatever within the top brass of the CRM. Right. We do know that they did take out Omaha, and I think Rick figured that out when Okafor said something in the helicopter. He was like, yeah, we got to change the CRM. No more this, no more that, no more A's and B's, and no more Omaha. And I think that was when Rick realized the CRM had something to do with Omaha. And then if you go back to World Beyond season 2, when Jadis is having that confrontation with Huck and the kids, Iris said something to her. She was like, you killed 100,000 people. And she was like, and they were going to die regardless. And she was talking about the research models and how it was projected that Omaha would end up becoming a drain on the CRM's resources. They were like, the way things were going, Omaha and Portland will never be self-sustaining. And eventually what will happen is those people will start dying. They will start starving. And it'll basically be what it was in the world before when, people don't have enough food. You get disease, you get people dying, and then you're going to...
Yeah, but give them a chance, though. Like, give them a chance to learn how to farm or take care of themselves. I mean, give them a chance. Right. But see, that's not what you worried about. You worry about them getting out and telling other people about what's going on.
Right.
Like, we were a part of this group and they stopped feeding us and stopped supporting us. They just don't, they trying to cover up their tracks.
Too well.
But also they're trying to be too much in control of everything.
Right.
And what was it that Michonne said while they were trying to escape the building, and they found that scientist who, or the person who committed suicide.
World, you see how that go.
But she hooked herself up to the fucking breaker box. I was like, okay. That's definitely one way to make sure that you don't reanimate, you don't come back, you don't fail. But she was talking about how this particular complex or this particular city that they are in right now, it was supposed to be off the grid. They were supposed to be self-sustaining. And she said that she brought together all kinds of innovators from various fields, and they were supposed to be able to accomplish this. And it just ended up being more of the same, to the point where there was really nothing they can do. And she realized it was a failure, But I mean, they had to have been successful to some degree, because like Rick said, in the city, and I don't know how much of the city they got to see as they were running to this particular building. He said there's no burned out buildings. There's no signs of damage. There's no bullet holes. And they had to have not encountered any of the walkers before in order for them to get to the airport, the apartment building. I think the walkers probably flocked to the building once the helicopter hit.
Right, because it brought the noise.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
that's true.
They were doing something. I mean, here it is. How many years after the zombie apocalypse, and the electricity is still running. The water is still running. The fucking Roomba is still cleaning the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
For how long? No battery drainage. No, nobody's been there to empty the little trash. Like,
right.
They
Solar
were doing
power.
something right. They were doing something right.
But of course, that's one of those things you don't, in the midst of it, you don't see it. It's not until you at the end, you're like, well, shit, this didn't work.
Right.
And you can't do no more. So, kind of like where Ricky is with everything. I can't do no more. This all I can do. This all I know how to do. So this is all I'm gonna do.
Right.
But once you get outside of that, you're like, okay.
Right.
Look at this from another angle. Yes, there is something else. Let me look at somebody else's point of view. Yes, there is more. Yes, there's something else we can do. Let's go to fuck home.
Yeah, get out your own way, Rick.
Right.
Get out your own way.
Side note, history lesson, because I was sitting there when the Roomba was going around the room. I was like, wait a second. I need a timeline here. Even though she said she got one just right before, I was like, again, now I need to pause and I had to look it up.
Right.
So if other people were like me, the Roomba came out in September 2002.
Okay.
And the apocalypse happened in 2010.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was a little later. So I was like, how did they get that machine? But
so I did the same thing with
the
electric cars at the end.
We looked up hybrids.
Okay.
Yep. Casey went to look it up and she was like, oh yeah, she was like, the first hybrid car came out in 1997. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I never realized.
We said the same thing. So y'all got electric cars.
Right. It's like, and that one I didn't have to because I kind of knew that one, but the Roomba I was like, sure it came out, but it did.
Yeah. I didn't realize they were that old.
I didn't either. That's why I was like, oh, we have a little error here,
Yeah, but
no error. So good job.
Going back to the room where the dead scientist was, I thought that it was very fitting that they're in that room and Rick is looking at all the stuff on the walls, like all the things and everything that was on the wall and everything that this woman was trying to create. It was something that applied to Rick in his current situation. So several of the signs that we saw, it says recover and regenerate, but the R-E and part of the G in regenerate is off. And I was like, oh, Rick, you need to recover from this trauma that you have, and you need to kind of regenerate and come back to being the person that you were all those years ago. There was also a sign that says, trust in your ability to adapt and overcome. Your past doesn't define you. And I was like, that's something else Rick needs to see. There was another one that said, and of course, we all know this one, especially if you grew up in the Black community, because we heard it being repeated by Mr. Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive. That was there. And I was like, you know what? These are all things that Rick absolutely needs to see. And he needs to take in. I tried to see if we could see any of the other signs and I couldn't get clear pictures of them. But this is the same room where they're having this conversation because Michonne reads this letter that the lady left. And she was like, when people start trying to fix things their own way, it never works. And then she was like, sound familiar? And I know he was like, if this bitch don't stop getting me, like I'm trying to save her life. But she's sitting there fighting with him.
She do not care.
And he was just like, look, I'm just trying to save you. And she was like, when she started talking about, you don't think I've been beating myself up about all this time away from my kids? And I don't even know what. And he was like, that's why you should go. She was like, Okay.
I'm about to beat your ass.
Okay.
She was like, so you this big man with the CRM now. So you what you gonna move up? She was like, maybe I should be afraid of you in the red uniform. And it was a very subtle look on his face. Like that stabbed him. Like, because he was
cutting
like,
this whole episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what did she just say to him? He was like, I'm trying to keep you safe. And she was like, the only time I feel safe is when I'm with you. That was a slap to the face for him.
Yeah.
Because that means that the whole time you've been gone, she hasn't felt safe. And then for her to turn around and say, oh, well, maybe I don't trust you if you turn around and wear this red uniform. I don't know what you're capable of. Like, does that mean you're capable of coming to hunt us down since that's what they were doing?
And it's so wrong. And it's so wrong for her to say it. But you know what? That's the best part this is the best thing about this episode. It was a realistic couples fight.
Because she was trying to shake it out of him.
Right. And she didn't mean it. Like, she knows that he wouldn't, but it's like, I have to say it to you.
Yeah.
So you will like understand how I'm feeling.
So you can hear how I hear it.
Right.
Does what I'm saying makes sense to you?
Right.
Now did you hear it out loud? Because me thinking it, but then me saying you in the red uniform, that's gonna put some context to you.
And you don't want me to feel that way, but maybe I should feel that way. That hurts your feelings. Yeah.
I think a lot of her, like we do in our arguments when you're in a relationship, you say things when you're upset because you're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear what I say. It may hurt your feelings. What they say, I'm not sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for how I said it.
For how I said it.
I wanted to say all of these things to you, like, wake the fuck up. Like, you're missing the whole fucking point. Right. You got a kid that has been trying to, that your children think about you. They know who you are. They like Judith has seen you. RJ has never seen you, but he knows who the hell you are.
Right.
He has christened himself the little brave man after you. Like, you are this myth to them. Bring your ass the fuck home.
But all you can say,
CRM has this great of a hold on you. Do your thing. I'm about to go.
Right.
When I was, me and Hanukkah was watching the episode, she's standing in that hallway. I said, he really not gonna go after her.
I thought that too. Because she waited. She waited.
I said, you ain't shit.
I was like, Rick, if you don't open that goddamn door. And then, of course, he opens the door and you hear his footsteps and he's just walking down the hallway. And then I think he heard the chopper because the chopper showed up right after he walked out of that room. And you see him kind of look to the side while he's running. He hears it and he just takes off because he's like, oh my God, I got to get to her.
Gotta get her.
Now, this whole thing they're fighting, trying to get back to either trying to get out the building or trying to get back to the room. Let me tell you, the first part before they actually got back to the room, the fucking pettiness between these two when they both went for the same walker. I got it. I had it. Well, I had it. When he pulled that knife out and the blood comes across her face, she was like, really? He was like, did you see his face? His face looked like, oh shit, she about to kill me. Sorry. He took off. I was dying. I was like, yeah, Rick, don't be petty with this woman. She ain't
right.
Y'all ain't back at that but
she doing it to him though, because when he got the thing off her leg or whatnot, thank you. You had to tell him thank you.
But you know what? I don't think she wasn't being sarcastic then. She was really.
Yes, she was.
Yes, she
was.
I
don't think so.
Yes, she was. Because I would do that. I would do that. That is sarcasm.
I don't know.
That is.
Look, it's actually on that part right now.
Right. Thank you.
Before, because she was trying to get him to leave her. And she was like, you got to go. And he was like, no, we're going to get this off. Yeah. And she was like, just leave. And he was like, that is never going to happen. She was
she know that's not going to happen too. You see what I'm saying? So, that's why she said,
but
thank you.
But you know what? Sarcasm. I don't know. I think in this moment, especially after that argument they just had where he's like, no, I'm staying. I'm not going. You're going to go home. That's why you need to go home. No, she's looking at, the way she just looked at him and said that, I don't think that was sarcasm. I think she really was to the point where she was like, because I think maybe in her mind, she was like, well, if he has no problem with me leaving, then he should have no problem with me dying if it's the same him. Like, you need to go.
No,
He was like, no, it's not. This is not about to
this
happen.
man for I don't know how long they've been fighting, have been telling you he wants you alive. He is not going to leave you there.
Oh, I
for
know
walkers
that,
to
but
get to. She knows
her
that.
frame of mind at that point, she is feeling defeated because nothing she is saying is getting through to this man.
I get that too, but you also got to think at the same time when she said, just leave me, is because you are still pissed. Just leave me. Because you don't want to come with me. You don't want to come with me. Why are you here? Yeah, I know you want to save my life at all, but you're not listening to anything I have to say. You can go. Of course, he's saying, thank you. I don't.
See,
that wasn't a mint.
I gotta disagree. I disagree with
I
that.
don't feel it. Okay,
Because
everybody, y'all tell us what you think about that.
Because even when she tells him again to leave her, and he said that is never going to happen, and she was like, I needed to hear that. Like, she needed some kind of reassurance from him. Like, okay, he's not completely gone in that sense. But I really think at that point she was like, no, you need to get out of here because I'm stuck. There's no sense in both of us dying. It's kind of reverse from what he's doing. She's gonna sacrifice herself. Huh?
Which is weird to me because one, he literally will die for you. So he is not going to leave you there. And
but I mean, think about it. Just the same, in the same way, he still knew she wasn't finna get on a boat without him, but he still, hey, if you love me, you're gonna get on this boat, you're gonna leave. It's the same thing. Like, we already know that Rick is not gonna leave her. She knows, but she had to put it out there anyway. Okay, look, I can't get out of this. You're free. You need to go. Not saying that he was ever gonna do it, but just in the same way that Rick would sacrifice himself for her, she would be willing to do that for him too. Now,
yeah, of course.
Like we said,
I still think they were in their fighting mode then, but you know,
because I think at that point the fight was out of her, because you even see it when they finally do get back to the apartment, and he starts approaching her. She's just like, she's looking at him like, I don't want you to touch me, but at the same time, she can't help that. She's just like, I have no fight left in me.
Right, but then, but that happens. You have fought, and then you also fought walkers. Now it's time for some time.
But I was like, when they got back and
that's emotional right there. That's what I'm saying. That's emotional. Again,
so he almost just saw her. He just almost saw her die again. So at that point, he's just kind of like, look, I'm coming to you slowly. Please don't hit me, because I was like, she gonna hit you in a minute. She gonna hit you. But he was
she wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't sure because it was all emotional. That's why I again go back to how that thank you was, because it's all emotional. It's just high intense emotion, along with also my life is in danger, and then now we're out of this danger, but we still in this high stress, high emotional, pent up. I don't know if I want to slap you,
yes, or if I don't think that was sarcasm. I don't know when she said thank you. Because also the way he answered her too, he was like, you don't ever have to thank me,
right?
Ever. I didn't feel that kind of I
didn't feel it from him though. I
didn't feel it from either one of them. So I just feel like she really was just kind of like, thank you, like, thank you for showing me that a part of you was still there. The part that I'm looking for, the part that I know is still there. You just showed me that it's still there. I think that's kind of what it was. And I just don't think she was being sarcastic with it. I think she was being genuine that, hey, thank you for letting me see this part of you that I thought was gone.
No.
And the one thing I want to say, because I pointed it out to Hanukkah when we were watching it earlier. If you notice, anytime that they have conversations, it's quiet. Like all of the outside,
the background noises gone.
And it's not until they snap out of those moments that you hear the building rumbling, you hear the walkers. So I love that they took us to a place where we're in this bubble with them, that you're going to listen, you're going to pay attention to what the hell I'm saying to you. There's no distractions. There's nothing coming from the outside. Listen to what I'm saying to you. You may not agree with what I'm saying, but you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
Like all the outside noise and all the mumbo jumbo is blocked out. And we are in this moment. And we are talking and we are discussing and we're going to hear each other. Yeah. So I like that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
But okay, let's go to bed. Let's go to bedroom time since we've approached this. Again, when I say I felt everything Andrew Lincoln was doing in this episode, I felt like I was seeing too much with even just this little scene. The way that he was shuddering and I was like, oh, I feel like I don't need to be watching this. Like this is too private.
And you know what I said? I said, oh, he came already, huh? He got that quick one out, like, oh. Girl, that cackled my soul. Good Lord, that was hilarious.
And then me, all I was thinking was Bridgerton. So she had him watch Bridgerton to feel these moments when they have these type of scenes. So I could even be serious. I was like, Bridgerton
for the sex stuff. She said she wanted him and Scott Gimple to understand the love story
along with the sex. Okay, I saw it there.
But I was like,
but that was emotional though. That was because it's like that man could literally break down at like any moment. Like not any moment, right at that moment.
And it's different here because, like, at least in the CRM, they couldn't get as intimate as they wanted to. Kiss here, a touch here, kiss here. Right here, you are 1000% vulnerable.
Right.
There is nothing that no chance of you getting caught, no chance of breaking up this moment. Like, you got to stay in it right now.
And you can see he was scared of that too.
Right.
Yeah. She had to put his hand on her heart. Like, it's okay. You're okay. You're safe.
Yeah.
How long has it been since he's felt safe?
Because he has had that shell up this whole entire time and just those emotions just inside of him. Not even be able to share with anyone. Like anyone. You can't trust that someone they'll just kill him. So to have that moment.
Right.
That ultimate intimacy.
Yeah.
Right. And to all the people online who are saying they think that there was something between Rick and Jadis, Rick Grimes would never, ever.
He been trying to get
sully himself with the likes of Jadis after having her.
If y'all can, friends, let's find some other women. I'd rather you say Thorne. I'd rather you say a whole lot of other women he has come in contact with than Jadis.
Right. Because I feel like with Jadis, that would definitely be a coercion type of situation.
Oh, yeah.
Notice how she always keeps saying, I saved your life. I saved your life. Like,
yeah.
What? Am I supposed to like fall down on my knees and whatever because you saved my life? And again,
she's going to give him the alpha prize.
Like, he doesn't look at it like you saved my life. You saved my life physically, but you brought me to a place that I can never leave, knowing I got a whole wife and child back home. This ain't saving my life. You put me in prison. And I like what Michonne said to him. She was like, when the prison doors open, you run. You don't stay put.
Hello.
Trying to tell him that. But
it's hard though. I mean, okay, so seriously, that happens with people. That it is just hard. I mean, he has told you the reason why he has tried to escape. They have taken everything from him. So I can't see myself outside of this situation, even with the door is unlocked and I can literally walk out.
Right.
I need someone. He literally needs someone to go in there, take his hand,
and pull him
and walk him out.
And doing it by force is not gonna work.
No. But he can't do it on his own
at all.
Yeah, because he was even he was even just so afraid to tell her the reason why he was like, after the whole, thing with them and they're having a conversation, when she asked him, she was like, what did they do to you? I need you to try to tell me what they took, what did they take from you? And you saw the way his whole face just changed. And he was just like, it was like all these years of everything he's been experiencing since then just came out, like the emotion coming out of him was just palpable. Like he was just like, Carl, they took Carl. And you saw her because she was holding him, and you saw her let her hands down and stood back because she was like, what? And then he was like, when I first tried to get away, he was like, it wasn't just me escaping, but I got away in my dreams. I would go and meet Carl. And then he was gone. And then I started thinking of you. And you and I met in different ways. We fell in love in different ways. And then you were gone. I couldn't see your face either. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I started boo-hooing at that point.
Well, I was even boo-hooing before that, because when he was still telling her after they had made love or everything, he was in the bed and he told her, he was like, if I can go back and change the CRM, this could be a real chance for future generations. And I really do believe that he really does believe that. Like Okafor really believed it. And I think Rick believes it. And I think with the right resources and the right people, he probably could achieve that. But when you have something that's on that big scale, it's always going to get corrupted in some kind of way.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But when he says that to her, she kisses him and she was like, you're still lying to me. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're not being honest with yourself about why you're so adamant about not coming home, why you're so adamant about going back. And then when she gets out the bed, he noticed earlier when she was getting changed, but he notices the X brand. And so she tells him about that. She was like, yeah, I let this girl in. She was a friend of mine from college. She was the one who encouraged me to go out and find you. And then she turned around and she stole Judith and she stole some other kids. She was like, Daryl and I went and got them back. We got these brands, but we took care of it. She was like, and I don't want to go into how I was like, because if you knew what she had to go through to get his child back,
baby,
that would probably make him feel even more guilty. And that will probably make him kind of, because it's like, I wasn't there to protect my child and you had to do this while you were 7 months pregnant.
That part.
I think he would have felt guilty. So she was just like, yeah, we took care of it. He was like, you killed her? Yep, good. And then that's when everything starts falling down because, she's messing with his arm. And she was like, so you did this. You were still trying to get home. She was like, I see you're still trying to get home. I see it. And I'm so sorry for what they did to you. Then everything starts coming down. She's like, sit, because we finna figure this out.
Right now.
And that's when he tells her about Carl and her and the dreams. And I was not expecting the little, the little clip of him walking with little Carl. I wasn't expecting that. But then when she got it, she turns around and she pulls out her pack, one of the phones, and it's got Carl. When I tell you, me and Casey were over here boo-hooing.
I said, they.
And not only just from the phone. So they do the phone and then they show him with the little boy and then they show Carl. I was done. I was like, because I was not expecting to see Carl show up in this series. And for them to bring it there, girl, when I tell you, I was over here a mess. Yeah. I was over here. I was holding it. I was like, I don't want Casey to see me just in all hysterics. Oh my God.
Just let it out.
Let it out, girl. Let it out.
And I think that finally got through to him because she was like, what would Carl say if he were here right now?
That part.
What would he say about the fact that you have been given this new chance? Yeah. And I think that was really what kind of got to him, not just her, but like you literally gave him back a piece of himself that he was missing. You know, and it happens with adults too. Remember the first time we saw not grown up Judith, but you know, aged up Judith. She had the conversation with Michonne. She was like, I'm starting to forget their voices.
Yeah.
It happens with adults too. He's starting to forget Carl's face, especially going through all the trauma he's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you just gave him back a piece of his heart, a piece of his soul. And you are the only person that can do that for him. And I think at that moment, he realized, okay, you know what? I need to go home.
Yeah.
She's right. Because she just gave him back what he thought he lost.
Right.
She's there. What was it? He said, when I first saw you, I was so scared because he thought eventually he was going to lose her, especially she was an A. He already knew. And he said, I tried to get ahead of it. I needed to get ahead of it. I needed to get ahead of it. He was already trying to put it in his mind that she was going to have to go in order to stay safe because he already knew. No way she going to pretend to be a B. Ain't no way.
Well, first of all, even if she pretends, it just shows. So, I mean, just stop pretending. Because pretending it's hard because you just see it. Even when she's pretending. So she can't even pretend.
Like you said, her walk.
Yeah, just how she commands a room. It's like, but when I tell you they had that conversation and then you can see like the weight lifted off of both of them. And then I'm like, okay, if y'all don't get to where y'all need to and stop making out in these places, please.
Right. And then the next scene we see them, he's out of the CRM uniform.
Right.
I'm so glad about that because I thought about that. Like I watched this episode 4 times today. And on the 4th episode, I was like, wait a minute. I said, she came in, found clothes and immediately changed clothes. He's still walking around in this wet uniform this whole time.
He's attached to
hours.
He don't know nothing outside of that right now because for him, that's who he is. That's who he's had to be. And he can't be nothing other than that right now.
I know.
And I just think they did that purposely because then when he does make that change and that weight, like I'm saying, that weight is lifted and the decisions is made, he in regular gear,
and like I said, when they walked out the door, it was like they were back. Yeah, they were back. Oh, I got this one. You got that one. Even his walk was different. He had the old Rick Grimes swagger.
Yes.
And they were out there killing the walkers in tandem.
Like they used to.
Right. And I was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. I need y'all to not be trying to make out in the elevator when it says the elevator has 2 minutes of power left. Like, y'all need to figure that out. And then what was it?
And in the car.
It's a stick shift. And I was like, does he not know how to drive a stick shift? And then I forgot about his hand. And I was like, oh, he can't drive with this hand and then be on the stick shift because he can't grab the wheel with the left hand.
You just said that. That just made me.
I wasn't even thinking that. I did, yeah, me too. Because I was thinking he just couldn't drive a stick.
Again, 3rd or 4th view, and I was like, "Oh, he's not going to be able to drive that because he can't."
That's funny.
Control the wheel.
That's funny. I did not think that. I just thought he didn't know how to drive a stick.
I think it was because of the hand thing.
It is the hand. Like how he gonna
control the wheel while he's
That is petty. They petty for that.
But that shows us they pay attention to the details.
Yes. Because I didn't, and I wouldn't have. It would have went right over my damn head.
Like I said, 3rd or 4th viewing was when I realized it. Because I was like, okay, I understand. Like, I don't know how to drive a stick shift. I've tried to learn, and it just wasn't.
You know how to drive no stick?
No,
I don't either.
I tried, and it was almost a disaster. But
Me too.
Okay, in the zombie apocalypse, I got y'all.
Okay, good, because I'm definitely coming down.
Hopefully, there's none around.
What, stick shifts?
Yeah, who's still buying a stick shift? Who buying it?
I buy me one just so nobody can ask to borrow my goddamn car.
Well, that is
I got
true.
a friend who says the same thing.
Can you drive a stick? No.
Long I
Right.
find me a big old truck. Hopefully
Right.
they ain't sticks.
Not. Now I will say this. I kept expecting for the CRM to show up and just mess things up. Even though I knew I had heard that they were the only two people in this episode. I heard that, but I was still like, when they were coming out down the elevator, I said, watch, they're gonna be some soldiers when they come out. And then all of a sudden they're outside, they're killing. I was like,
yeah.
oh, nobody came. I was like, so y'all blew up the helicopter and that was really it. Y'all didn't. I was like, oh, okay.
They're not reconning for nobody.
No, they blew it up.
Short of Bill going down, but the hell, they probably got contingencies in place for his ass too.
Yeah.
That if something happened to him, let him go.
Yeah.
Because I don't see them doing all that for one person.
Right.
Or two people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, we just gonna kill, make sure everybody dead. Essentially is what they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what else is there to do? Because at that point, you trying to get people on the ground, you sacrificing more people, trying to save some people that may not even be a fucking alive.
Right. And then you don't know what's down there on the ground, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they got a chance to kind of see what was around the city because they had to go from the water to the building. But yeah, I kept saying it can't be this easy. It can't be this. Not that it was easy because they struggled the whole episode, but I was just like, they're just gonna walk out the building. Oh, they just happen to find a hybrid car that has gas in the back, that has ethanol in the back, and it was still charging, and it's got tires in the back. I was just like, this is too good to be true. And even watching the episode Insider at the end of the episode, when Scott M. Gimple was talking about it, he was like, by the end of the episode, they're both in a really good place. They're on the same page. He was like, we could have ended it there and it would have been great. But this is The Walking Dead. I said, so y'all finna fuck us up for 2 more episodes before.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
But I kept looking. I was like, okay, so is the CRM going to show up? Okay, is Thorn? I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I'm so glad it didn't. This was the episode that we needed. This was the episode they needed. So now I feel like, okay, mom and dad are back together again. Right. Let's go kick ass and save the world and do what
I love
together.
I love the smiles on their faces at the end.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Loved it.
We know it don't last long, but we like it.
Yeah, but it was great to see it because the smiles that we've been seeing on Michonne's face for the last 2 episodes was that crazy smile, like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. Okay, I got you.
But it was at least it was the right one in the beginning. But when he started saying all that stuff, the last episode, it quickly changed. Like, I'm not.
She was like, we needed a timeout. He said, right. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you said that. She was giving.
Because you already know she gonna be, who is you talking to? Like, you forget, sir, I'm a black woman. You know she's gonna be talking to me in the old kind of goddamn way and thinking you could say, if you love me, I'll leave. Who are you talking to? I need explanations.
And we're broken?
And ain't no fit.
Right.
I need more of an explanation of that. Because you had to get out the airplane because once you get back to base camp, ain't no talking. You got little 5-minute increments where you can sneak and talk. No, sir, we need to have a full-fledged conversation. We need to hash this out because there's gonna be a reckoning up in here.
Right. Because there were some things that needed to be said. Well, she was like, so why don't you come right here and craft this masterpiece to your children and explain to them how I found their father, but he didn't want to come home to them. It's like his eyes, when she said children, it's like his face was like, wait, my brain needs to come. Children?
Yeah.
You said children. She was looking like, damn it.
She didn't mean for it to come out like that.
I don't think she did, but
you didn't
that's
think
exactly how I expected it to come out.
Oh, I thought she did mean it.
Oh, you
did? Oh, yeah, because she did what we do. She laid the foundation. She started with the book, honey. When she said, "Oh, this book, oh, I loved it when I was kid. Judith would love this book. And talking about, oh, I thought I was gonna be a writer. Like,
but see, I
didn't know where she was going. But then she went to, and then your children would be able to enjoy your masterpiece like I did. No, she knew because she's like, I'm not gonna tell you nicely, like we lay in bed or I'm hugging or something. Say you have a son. Oh no, if we're gonna go there, we're gonna go there. This is our time out. But she was laying a story for him. He didn't know where she was about to go with it.
Right.
So she knew what she was doing. Right. She knew what she was doing.
I think so too, and I like the way
I like how she did it
because I was like, she's gonna tell him in some like off the cuff, just kind of nonchalant, throw it out there kind of way. Because at this point, I feel like she's just gonna be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna tell your children you ain't coming home. And he's, excuse me, children, what you talking about?
Because she threw them off anyway, especially throwing them out of a helicopter. Right. But then how you're talking and you're talking about, like, we never really talk about you were in school and you dropped out of riding, dropped out of where are you going with this? And then you threw some children and he like processing children. Like was there other kids on the farm? I mean, what's happening here? Is she talking about Herschel and Judith? Like, who's she talking about?
Right.
Children?
Yo baby boo. Yeah. Baby daddy.
Yeah.
And she was just like, okay, how much am I finna tell him now? Because, and I will say this, I think when he said children and he said, you said children, she went, psh. I think it was because in her mind originally, remember, she said she wasn't going to tell him until they were out of there. And I think maybe she thought, you know what? I said I was going to tell him when we were out of there, but this wasn't exactly what I had in mind. But you know what?
Yeah.
If he's being an asshole and saying he's not coming back, okay, let me just, okay, I'll go back. You just got to tell them why you're not coming back.
But I do feel like she did it, like she was setting it up. She did it on purpose to drop a bomb. But then how he said children and she looked at him like how he looked, then she's like, oh shit, let me now just let me not be that person. Let me actually tell you, okay, yeah, I was pregnant at the bridge. You have a son.
Yeah.
Because I think she realized,
can't take that statement back.
Yeah, and I dropped it on them really hard. So let me soften up the rest of what I'm saying for a second.
But then that didn't make it any easier because when she was saying, you know, she said, his name is Rick. We call him RJ. I was pregnant when the bridge happened. And then it's like she paused because she realized how many years had gone by because she was like, he's almost 8.
Almost 8. Like, oh, wow.
And you could see that almost like tear her up because she realized, God damn, I have been gone for a long time.
A long time.
And then he's like, give me the PRB. She was like, excuse me, motherfucker. I just told you had a son.
And that brought her back to the level she was when she dropped the bomb on them because she was expecting. Her next thing was for him to be like, oh my gosh, we have a baby. Like, how is my baby? And how's he doing? And things like that. But you like start talking about something that we're not even on that subject.
Yeah.
Okay, because so now I got to go back.
Laser focus.
Go back. Right. I got to go back to how I was when I dropped
he's like, oh, wait. So now there's another child that she needs to get back to that. No, I need to now have even more reason to make sure that the CRM doesn't find them. I got to protect them. And like I said, I feel like he didn't ask about RJ because he couldn't. Not because he didn't want to know, because even when she was talking about the brave little man or little brave man and stuff, you see a little bit of a smile on his face when she's telling him this, like, huh. And then he immediately has to change that because he can't let himself feel that. Otherwise, he won't be able to do what he feels like he has to do and send her away. He can't get emotional. He can't feel attached. He can't be curious because then that's going to deter him from going back to the CRM, which he is still at that point absolutely certain he has to do.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad he knows.
I'm glad he knows too.
I'm glad we didn't have to wait until the last episode.
Yeah. That would have been too much. This too much. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, but it still would have been so touching, though. I still can picture in my head, though. I can see them coming down the gravel road, and everyone, like, because we can't bring back old stars, we'll just have random people on the side looking like, who's this man with Michonne? And oh my gosh,
Well, you still
he's
got
been gone.
Aaron there. You still got
Yeah, but I mean, but I know we can't really bring them back, so we're just gonna have some random people. I mean, I'm picturing in my head, and they coming down the road, and then Judith
I
is
don't see
have her
random.
hat on, and she was like training the children on the side for combat, and she sees her and like, oh my gosh, my mom's back, and then looks right next to her and realize, oh my gosh, that's my dad.
right.
And then
Or
Rick
no,
Jr.
better yet, this is better yet. Remember at the end of The Walking Dead, at the end of The Walking Dead, how they was up on the fence or whatever, looking. What if they're up there looking and see them coming?
Oh,
that'd be better.
Yeah, and then she runs, and then RJ is hesitant, and then he runs towards his mom, and then I can see the look of Rick's face, like, who is this kid?
No, he know he don't know who it is.
But now he know. I'm just saying that's how I had pictured. That's how I pictured the reunion in my head.
He was like, so he looks like me, huh? So that means he's really good looking.
She said, except for the brown skin, you wouldn't even know he was mine.
Right. Oh, and he's stubborn too, just like his daddy, just like his mama. Both of y'all motherfuckers stubborn.
Stubborn as hell.
Yeah, very. Very.
But, okay, so did y'all notice this? So when Michonne was stuck up under the chandelier, did you notice that the walkers were walking up the stairs?
See, you watched it so many times now. I did not know.
But remember that chandelier was in the stairwell.
I know.
They were going downstairs. They had just walked upstairs when the chandelier came down. Those walkers were coming upstairs.
But we know about variants, so that
we do, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah, and the variants are supposed to be like, it's not a lot of them. Variants are supposed to be like kind of scattered or rare occurrence, but no, all these motherfuckers were coming up the stairs.
But no, that wouldn't be different for us. Remember when Alexandria got overrun with the wolves, they was going up the stairs.
I know this, but what I'm saying is they made such a big deal about variants, especially in that final season. I'm just like, oh, okay. Here come all y'all coming up the stairs.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention.
They were coming.
Yeah, I mean, I was paying attention, but not that much because, like I said,
not to where they were coming from. I wasn't.
Right, we've already been introduced to variants, so that wouldn't be a major.
But you're right. It's not supposed to be all of them. It's supposed to be like a random. But yeah.
Or, like I said, we've noticed, and, a lot of people have been like, okay, well, variants aren't like, that's not anything special because we've been seeing variants since episode 1. But because they made such a big deal of it in the final season, like, oh, we got these variants and these variants are doing this. And it was just something I just thought was interesting to point out because
it's a lot of them because typically when we saw them, it's like 1 out of a group or 2 out of a group was doing something different, not all of them coming up the stairs.
Right, because even when they breached the gate at the Commonwealth, you had a few climbing up the gate, but the rest of them were walking and still like sitting there banging and scratching on the gate. So I just thought it was very interesting that was there. So yeah. But so now we're on a road trip.
I'm ready for it.
Going back to Alexandria supposedly, but I don't know. I'm kind of worried, looking
based
at
on that preview.
The preview for next episode where she was like, I came and did all of this for us, but now I see that this ends with us not going back home, or I was just like, excuse me, what you talking about? What you?
And we have a shadowy figure and somebody chasing them in their car through the field.
I still feel like that meeting is important. I'm not gonna let that go.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna do something there, and Rick knows how to fly a helicopter, and that's how they get home.
I mean, I don't know if they would. I don't know if he would risk putting them in airspace.
Get it close enough. He get it close enough.
He can get away though. I mean, because it'll be distraction. I just feel like they're going to go back there. I don't know why. I just feel that way.
They are, and they have to, because remember in the beginning, the name of the show was going to be Summit.
Yeah.
So
okay. I did. Yeah. So
you can't not have the summit.
Yeah.
Now y'all took my theory away, because I guess I didn't see that part when I was watching or paying that much attention that the locator was destroyed. But I feel like it could be another locator. Somehow they're getting picked up or they're coming back.
I don't know.
It would have to be Jadis, period.
That picks them up.
That goes and look for her. I don't see anybody else having a reason, not even Thorne having a reason to go look for them.
Unless Jadis has someone who's like a finder. She sends a finder after them.
I don't know. She could.
You know what I'm saying? That could be the person.
But we also don't know where exactly it was that they crashed. Like we don't know, because here's the other thing.
I think I have an idea though. I think it's in Portland.
Okay, because I was gonna say, so originally when we heard them talking about Cascadia Base in this series, I went to go look up like Cascades Mountains or something, and there is also a Cascade plane or something like that in Philadelphia. So that's where I thought they were going to be. And then it wasn't until the last episode when Thorne was explaining everything, and she said something about it's their their like headquarters for everything on the West Coast. I was like, y'all on the West Coast? Like more than just Portland? So I was like, oh, this is a lot bigger than I expected it to be, or than I thought it was. And then I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense that they would have a foothold over on the West Coast as well. But then again, like you said, with the echelon brief, we still don't know what that is, but it's got to be something major.
Right.
So
especially for Thorne to be so happy she know about it.
And she was like, I know everything now.
Yeah.
I am committed. So I'm like, what is it about the CRM's plan that have both her and Jadis kind of like, oh, I'm all in. I'm all in. And you know what? Somebody made a comment.
I mean, we already know it's not gonna be shit good.
Oh no. Somebody made a comment on the YouTube page because I mentioned something about Jadis saying, they have a 500-year plan. And she was like, yeah, the Third Reich had a 500-year plan too. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, we see how that turned out. So yeah, maybe that's not something we want to happen. Like I said, I feel like the bigger the community, the more corrupt and the more warped it can get. Like you have something like let's say an Alexandria Hilltop, or even a Commonwealth. Commonwealth is 50,000 people. You saw how things started to get skewed with the government there, with the Miltons trying to be in control, with Lance trying to undermine because he wasn't in control the way he wanted to be. Like he was doing his own thing on the side and overseeing different things. So you see, the bigger it gets, the more murky the waters get. With a city of 200,000 and a force of 17,000. Yeah, there's I don't think there's a way you can have something that big and it not be corrupt in some kind of way, or it not be extreme in some kind of way. But to listen to Jadis talk about it, especially going back and looking at the old Walking Dead and World Beyond clips, Jadis is like a fanatic. She's like,
we are the light of the world.
We are the light of the world. Yeah. And yes, we slaughtered 100,000 people. It was a sacrifice because we had to make sure that the light of what? Like you just gonna explain killing 100,000 people and justify it?
Yeah.
Because this one group is the quote unquote light of the world.
Light of the world.
I was like, I need to know what's in that Kool-Aid. I need to know what's in that echelon briefing.
I do too.
I need to know.
I think we're gonna find out.
Oh,
Probably not the way we think we're gonna find out, but
yeah.
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Maybe not.
Look, we want to know what's in the echelon briefing, but it's not gonna be good for us. I don't see it being right. I don't see it being. Oh, okay. Yeah, nah.
Right.
Definitely not gonna be that.
Right. But Michonne and Rick got a long, if they are in Portland, they got a long drive to get back to Virginia.
But I don't think they're in Virginia though. I mean, I don't think they're in Portland because she's like, this is enough gas. It's only 3 little tanks of gas, and plus it being an electric car. She said this will get us home.
Yeah,
where do you think they are?
I don't know where they are, but I don't think they're in Michigan. I don't think they're in Oregon.
Yeah.
Well, I just do it. I think so. I think like it's around the West Coast, but upper West Coast.
But how would that explain them saying they have enough gas to get home?
I don't know. I've never driven a hybrid, so I don't know what the gas.
I don't know what the. Yeah, me neither. I don't know how.
Let me see what the gas.
What I don't know how far this going. I know there. What it looks like outside the window looks more towards Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could have been in like Colorado somewhere,
Yeah, I can give them that. I give them Denver, but that's still far.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I know hybrid vehicles get good gas mileage. I don't think it gets that good gas mileage.
It's not.
You know what? Depending on how far the trip is.
They say the average fuel efficiency for a hybrid car is 55 miles a gallon.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, even in my little Toyota Corolla, if I have a full tank, I can get 400 miles on a full tank. So it just all depends, I guess.
So and that's 55 miles.
Okay.
Only 65?
55.
Only 55 miles
per gallon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So it depends on.
It is a lot.
They had a little mini truck, so say it's 10 to 15 gallon tank.
Mm-hmm.
They get anywhere from 550 to 700 miles.
And then they have gas
on one tank. Tank.
Yeah, and then they got gas. So yeah, they have enough.
Yeah,
they do.
So, but of course, things happen. They probably won't keep that vehicle, especially if they're getting chased in the field.
Absolutely not. It's gonna have corn all in the exhaust. It's not gonna work no more.
Well, I don't know, because corn makes gas. No, let me stop. Let me stop. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I want to know who this creepy person is that looks like it's coming after them, because I was like, why the fuck y'all got Candyman in the thing?
And I feel like we're gonna know them.
I was kind of wondering.
It's going to depend on where they at. In order for them to know them, it would have to be somebody from Fear, and there's only 2 motherfuckers from Fear.
Morgan.
Oh, baby, if it's Morgan,
Morgan, but you know what? Morgan is not that big.
Morgan, and how he traveling? I mean,
and he got a baby,
and he got his daughter with him. So, and he ain't letting that girl go for nothing.
No,
he's not about to leave her with no babysitter. He's like, no, you had babysitter.
No, he's not.
8 years of your life. No,
he's the parent that's not going to do that.
Yeah, at all.
He was like, I already let you.
The only other options would be somebody. Only other options would be somebody from Commonwealth who knows them, and that leaves what Ezekiel. Carol's gone. Daryl's gone.
Aaron. Because Aaron be leaving Gracie all the time, so.
Yeah, he does.
I'm just saying, but he leaves her with Judith, so he's like, okay, you know what? She got somebody to play with. I know these people, they're gonna take care of my child. So again, it's a zombie apocalypse. You're gonna have to leave your children, especially if y'all gotta go. If y'all still scavenging, so you just can't expect all the people without children to be the ones to go out and risk their lives, unfortunately.
But I'm just saying, the people we know that still know them,
it's
all but gone.
I may have an answer.
Okay.
Well, okay. What's your theory?
Well, no, because they're calling that area that they were in Greenwood.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to find Greenwoods, and I found a Greenwood, and it was Colorado.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if that's necessarily would be the same Greenwood, but
Right.
hey, let's go with that.
Okay.
So we were in that area, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, Colorado would probably, that's more inland than Oregon, Washington. So
but they would still have the mountains, and they would still have the lakes. Yep. So
yeah, because they say they fell in a river.
Yeah.
So
not the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay. That's still a long drive though.
Narrowed it down to California. I mean Colorado.
Yeah, maybe Colorado. In that area.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not France, so
yeah, so we're good.
Yeah.
That part.
And then Rick probably let's be honest. Okay, so when Thorne told Rick to take Michonne back, she very specifically told him, I want you to handle all of the refueling and all this other stuff. So Rick knows where the gas is. So they can probably stop and get some gas along the way. So, and then like you said, that might be how they bump into whoever Candyman 2 is. So
and how they get home too.
Right. Could be. I don't know. Could be. But yeah. Okay. So how are we feeling?
Feeling great.
Okay. I feel good. I enjoyed this episode thoroughly.
I did too.
I'm glad at the end they came out of that apartment together.
On the same page.
Both of them had their swag back.
Yes.
Both on the same page. Ready to take on whatever the fuck comes up.
Right.
And it's very easy to be on the same page and get your swag back when you got you some after 8 years, but okay.
Hello, found chicken wow wow.
I mean, hey.
But I think just looking at the previews for the next one, I think what she said about them not going back is being taken out of context. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I don't think
of course.
I get that.
We think, you know, that we think that it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a whole totally different context.
Yeah.
But as long as because they're at the point now, nothing has dissuaded Michonne from her mission. And I don't think nothing's going to stop it now.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, she's trying to get
now
back
that
to
she has him on the same page as her, nothing is going to stop him.
Yeah.
So that conversation is totally out of context. And I love the way that for this particular show, how in the previews, because like even in the beginning previews of shows, nothing was past episode 1 or 2. Like they're not revealing future stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I like how when they give the preview for the show, it's only for the very next show. It's like even the beginning, you know, it was everything that happened in episode 1 and 2. So they're not revealing nothing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because I think even the people who got screeners, they only got screeners up until this video. I mean, up until this episode. So I don't think anybody got screeners for 5 and 6. It's not from what I've seen from the people that I follow. I don't think anybody got 5 and 6.
Which is great.
Probably good because that way we can be spoiled, because I almost got spoiled on YouTube a few days ago about Rick's reaction to finding out that RJ exists. So
only thing I do hope Michonne find another sword somewhere. She has to.
I know, because her sword is back at the CR.
I hate the little rebar. I hate the rebar, but it's serving its purpose.
It is. It is. But yeah, she needs to get a sword.
Yes.
Because it's just it's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird. So
and I don't like it.
Right. But Michonne is back full-fledged now. Loving it. Like I said, give Denai her flowers for this awesome episode. Give Andy his flowers for his act. I mean, Denai was good too, but I'm sorry, this episode was Andy. Like
They need Emmys for this episode. Donate.
The fact that he has not gotten one yet for his portrayal of this character bothers me, but I already know that those types of award shows are shit anyway for the most part. But he needs something for this episode. Like Absolutely. I said, I felt every bit of emotion this man had in this episode. The anguish, the joy, the fear, I felt it all.
The grief.
The whole
everything, baby.
Yeah.
I felt it. Give that man his flowers. So, did we touch on everything we needed to touch on? Did we forget anything? There was a lot in this episode.
Oh, we the one thing that me and Hanako kept laughing at, the temperature control every time.
Oh yes, yes.
Like, where is that coming from?
Yes. But it
didn't help his state of mind at all.
No, but it went with what they were going through, which I like how she wrote this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so her writing and the directing it just went with what they were going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that was a plus.
Yeah, I like that. I you know, I like it.
I know.
I like that first 5 minutes.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful." I was like, "Yes, Casey, we know."
Baby, let me tell you something. That woman, see Michelle?
Now I will say this: for them to give this a TVMA rating, they could have gave us a little bit more. They could have gave us a little bit more, because I think the van was, well, then again, you know what, I will say they probably gave us the MA rating for what Andrew Lincoln did with that scene, because
they did, because you can tell that something was happening.
I feel like I need a cigarette and I don't need to smoke.
That was, look, that was pulling me into our Outlander type scenes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it was very intense.
Yeah.
So they did a great job he did a great job, studying his homework.
Yes, he did.
To get into this character.
He did. So
this scene. So
okay, so we're thinking that they are going home, but they may have to make a pit stop and go back. Okay. And Casey, I like the fact that you brought up the old show title, because you're right. For them to have called it Summit at the beginning, and that's literally what we're talking about. Yeah, something's gonna have to happen.
It has to, because why?
Because you can't leave it, like, again, unless there's an intention to bring back World Beyond, there would be no point. We know that's where
what?
We know that he's trying to escape, but there would have to be a final.
Yeah.
Even if
they just go back to it to say, "Oh, this plane crashed. Let's move on." You have to go back to it at some point, even to give us the closure on Jada saying, "Well, I know these motherfuckers ain't dead."
Right. Yeah, because I will be honest, I need to see that bitch die.
Right. And this could be a setup. So that would be my second theory. This is a setup for either you continue the World Beyond or you start something else.
Yeah, I was gonna say what they'll probably do is start another spinoff.
Yeah, and it will be Jadis, and it could just be Jadis and some other people that can pull, if they want to pull those kids, if they want to call it the World Beyond, but it's a different group of people, they could. So it really could be setting it up. But we know that this meeting is extremely important.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we only have
them
2
to be talking
episodes
about it since the beginning, that we can't not get it.
Yeah.
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 We can't,
because y'all have put the CRM in too much of this universe.
Yeah.
For us not to
and whether it's bringing it down or changing the players or reorganizing or infiltrating it or whatever, there has to be some sort of resolution for that.
Right.
And but my thing is, because even with World Beyond, they made that known in the beginning. This is a 2-season series.
Yeah, they did.
That's all
the way from the beginning.
They have not done that with The Ones Who Live.
Yes.
They have not said limited series.
Right.
They haven't said anything. They gave us this one season, but they haven't come out and said, "Oh, this." And then, like we even said with the little meme or whatever that they put out, do you think it should be only one season? Do you think there'll be another? Like, y'all are putting these questions in our head, and y'all haven't closed it out to say, like, we knew World Beyond two seasons. That's it.
Right.
It's nothing after this. They still left it open ended where those characters could show up in something else, but y'all didn't say this is a one season series or one and done, basically. Because I think with the ratings that they're getting for this show and the pulling back in of everybody, because you're getting everybody who left after Glenn, after Negan, after whatever point that they left, you pulling back in these people who want resolution. Maybe they did stop watching after Rick left, or maybe they did stop watching after Michonne left. What happened? Because there's no way they go back to, like I said, even if they only have one day where they called all the characters back, except for people who have passed away, even if they only did it for one day, you have to have some resolution for Rick to go back to see all these people that knew he blew up on that fucking bridge. So,
but then that would be weird too, because you would have him go back and then Daryl's not there. That would be weird. But I mean, it's not to say it couldn't happen.
Not to say it can't happen.
Yeah. But I'm about to look at this preview again because I just had my own little thought, especially since we're talking about the fact that they could be going back, to wherever this Cascadia base is, or they could stop and get some of the gas from like some of the refueling stations throughout the country. But I'm like, this big figure, even though I know it's like it's a huge stretch, but could that be Silas? Because
it could be, but Silas don't know them.
He doesn't, but if we know he's part of the CRM. Well, maybe not at this point. Oh, I got to think about the timeline. But I don't know. I have to look at that. I got to look at that figure again, because again, the figure looks kind of big. But, and we keep hearing something about, somebody from one of the other shows crossing over. So
I'm sure it's going to be that. I'm sure it's going to be that, but it can't be nobody.
I don't know. I'm not going to speculate at this point. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, we just have to wait till next week.
It would have to be a villain. I can't see them.
Not necessarily, because it could be somebody that turns out to help, that helps them. You got to remember, the way that they craft these promos is to draw us in to come see it. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone sinister. It could be someone who comes across them and be like, what the fuck y'all doing in my cabin? Oh, okay, well, let me help you guys. It could be that.
You're right.
So it's just the way that they had him, the way that he was looking, or he, she, whatever was looking, it looked kind of sinister, but it was also dark. They had on a trench coat, they had on a hat. So, they could be playing with us. They could be playing.
Of course they are.
Of course. So
couldn't be any other way.
So we have 2 episodes left. Are we thinking that so we're all in agreement that either this is going to be a second season, or there's going to be something after this to continue maybe the CRM part of the story?
Yeah, it's definitely something after.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So all right. Well then
what if it's he?
Huh?
I'm sorry. That just came.
There you go. There you go.
That's my theory. Is he?
It could be.
I did mention that to you guys that it could be.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
It could be.
You did. Okay. So we can go with that. That would make sense. It would be weird, but it would make sense. One, because I don't know if Corey Hawkins would be available to come back to The Walking Dead because he's been quite busy the last few years.
He only needed one episode, honey.
Right. I'm like, and what is he in now?
Stop acting like people ain't
right now.
I know.
Okafor didn't make it to the second episode, so please stop. Nat didn't make it to the next episode. Please stop. We need him for one day. And you know, Walking Dead be on secret squirrel missions. Like, you don't know. He could have been in the middle of Color Purple, dipped off, and came back, and you be like,
right, and you didn't even know.
You didn't even know. Because that's how it's supposed to be.
Right. So, okay.
That's my theory.
So we'll stick with that theory. And on that note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.